was trying to keep my feet dry there, but that didn't work out. Anyway, water's a little higher than the last time we put in, so it's not the cleanest place to get in, but we're finally in. And welcome back to Midlife Explorer. It's actually a Saturday afternoon. Didn't get a chance to go out paddling yesterday. We chose to go ride the bikes instead, so I figured I had a few hours this afternoon to go and explore the south branch of the Thames River, paddling from Innerkip down to Roth Park. It's literally right behind my house, so I just dropped the kayak in and walked down, and then I'll try and find a ride later on to try and get back to Innerkip. So I'm going to paddle down the Woodstock, down the south branch of the Thames River. This river flows all the way down in through London. It follows downstream from Woodstock, but this is only a couple times a year you can actually get down the stretch of river. I wouldn't normally recommend coming down this stretch because it gets quite shallow. The other challenge with this particular stretch of river is there's often trees in the way, much like any other small river or creek, so you never know what's in front of you. And the same holds true today. I'm kind of committed to the journey now. My feet are already wet, so if I got to get out and walk, I got to get out and walk. It is what it is. Came down a couple of years ago in the fall. Did not have to walk. Came down last summer with a friend. I had to walk a couple times. Both times I've come down previously down this particular stretch. There's usually blockages, although we manage them each time. Now you can come up from Roth Park and come quite a ways up the Thames River. So you can certainly paddle this part of the river. You just can't come all the way up to Innerkip. If you come upstream, the only way to navigate this part of the river is actually to come downstream from Innerkip. And you gotta pick the right time of year. It's third weekend in May, so, and we've actually had some rain this week, so I'm hoping the water's going to be fine so far. It's looking like I'm not going to have much problem. But you never know. I'm more concerned actually about blockages today than I actually am about having to get out and walk. Because there's no real way of checking in advance. I mean, I don't feel comfortable flying my drone all the way down the river blind. I like to be able to keep my eyes on the drone, and it's too windy today to get the drone up high enough to see what's going on, so I'm kind of paddling blind down the river. I'm in my Old Town XT11 today. I haven't paddled this boat for a while. We've got 3 boats in the family, and this is the smallest of the 3, which is why I picked it today, because it's the first part of the river is quite narrow. Now I do run the risk. Can I get through there? There's a blockage. There you go. So there's a blockage up there. So we'll have to come around. It's the challenge of coming down this river. You never quite know what's in front of you. And there's a blockage on the left bank here, so I'm going to go around the right side. Hopefully I can get around the right side. If not, I'm kind of committed now. So this is what makes this paddle interesting. I was getting to do this kind of stuff. Don't stretch the camera though. So I'll keep the camera away from the trees. Yeah, so I wanted to get my other. I actually have just picked up a new to me 14.5-foot Clearwater Designs Manitoulin. I wanted to get that one out today, but it's just too big to come down this stretch. Now when I get on the Pittock, I'll regret not having a bigger boat, but okay, let's go see what this is. Okay, we can get around that side too. Okay. Left side would have been better. Anyway, we're good. Yeah, you got to be careful with the blockages on this river, so I checked the flow rates. It said it was running about 4 cubic meters per second in Innerkip, although it looks like it's flowing a bit faster than that. You could probably get down the stretch if it was a little bit lower than this, but I wouldn't want it to be too much lower because you simply won't get down. And I think if it's, if we had come down here 2 days ago when we had all that rain and it was running twice as fast, then you get into the situation where you have a hard time navigating some of the stuff that's stuck in the river. So this is probably a good time to go today, which is why I chose to go, because it's only 13 degrees Celsius today, and the good news is for the first time in 4 days there's no rain in the forecast, although it is overcast. But I haven't paddled down this stretch in the spring, which is the reason why I wanted to come to Ooh. That's the other nice thing about the Old Town. Actually, all three of my kayaks. This is the only one I actually purchased new. The other ones I purchased used, so I don't mind scratching these things. They're pretty much indestructible. This one I didn't even put on the roof of the car today because it's like literally in behind my house. I opened up the hatch and tossed it in there and drove over with the hatch open. Just to get it into the river. I'm going to carry it downstream actually, but yeah, I'm a couple hundred yards away from this stretch of river. So. When we came down last July, there was a major blockage about 10 minutes downriver from here. And we were able to get underneath it, but the river's higher now, so I don't think I'll be able to get underneath it. I'm going to have to go around that blockage somehow. Big challenge is when you get to Pittock, you've got about 5 or 6 kilometers on the lake there, which is, I mean, in total this paddle probably only 13 or 14 kilometers, so half of the paddle itself is actually down Pittock, and unfortunately the wind is from the west, so you're straight into the wind, and today 25 to 35 kilometer an hour winds, so it should be interesting. I paddled upstream from Roth Park 3 or 4 times. And that's in my alternate plan today, actually. I was going to put the new to me boat and take it out for its maiden voyage. There's just not that many opportunities to get down this stretch of river, so that's why I picked the Old Town and I'm going downstream. But I've come upstream from Roth Park at least 4 times, and I've been able to get all the way up to here actually. So, we've only been paddling 10 minutes, and I've pretty much gotten all the way to Innerkip, and at that point you end up having to walk, and it really depends on when you choose to come. But you can get up a large part of this river from Roth Park. It's actually a nice paddle, if you don't mind flat water, to come up from Roth Park. You can paddle upstream for an hour and a half and turn around and go back downstream. And you got to come all the way up to here before you're going to find anywhere to get out and actually have a bit of a break. But very few times of the year you can actually get downstream. I'm only running one camera today. If you want to. Actually, my Necky Manitou is set up to actually mount 2 cameras. I've got a good rear mount system on that boat now. But my Old Town Heron is the first boat we used, started to do YouTube videos with, and I've always just used a suction mount. With this, I did learn very early in my days of doing videos. Actually, it was on Pittock Lake, as a matter of fact, where I lost a GoPro 8. But I learned the hard way to tether my cameras, and it has come in handy ever since. As a matter of fact, this boat has gone upside down on a couple of occasions with a GoPro attached to it, and both occasions the GoPro actually, the suction mounts actually stayed intact. But we've had many times where the suction mounts have fallen off the boat, and thank goodness for the tether, because then you just grab it and put it back on the boat. So yeah, if you're going to use a camera with a kayak, make sure you tether it. And make sure it's waterproof. And this X5 is waterproof. Not that I expect that I'm going to be having to worry about the camera today, though. There's no white water on this, it's a flat water paddle. Oh, you can feel the wind already. I got my work cut out for me now. The nice thing about this little paddle is I can get out at the bridge if I really don't want to go down Pittock. I'm stubborn though, I'll go down it. But if the weather really turns, I can at least get out at the Pittock. At the bridge at the beginning of the Pittock, which makes this a 6-kilometer path, which is 45 minutes, an hour maybe. So you can go on the Upper Thames Conservation Area website and you can get the flow rates for all the, the north and the south branches of the Thames. It's actually there's 3 branches to the Thames. We do want to get out onto the north branch of the Thames one of these days. We haven't paddled that section yet. I'm hoping we can do so this summer, but again, it's a stretch of river that you need to have some flow on it in order to get down it, especially if you're coming down from St. Mary's, which is one of the paddles I want to do this year. Not many places to get in and out. Well, unfortunately, if you come down from St. Mary's, you pretty much have to go all the way down Fantry. Sometimes the strangest things pique my interest. So there you go. Look at that tree. I'm pretty sure there's a beaver in there somewhere. He's been busy. I'm kind of amazed at how deep it is right now. Actually, I remember coming through this section last year and the year before. And we walked here last year. And even the year before when I came through in the fall with Gordon, we had to scooch going through this section. So there's lots of water in the river right now. You got a blockage here, buddy.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh. We're going to have to go cut underneath the tree over here.
Yeah.
Wow, this wasn't here last year. That whole tree fell down.
Oh, right.
Oh, look at that. All right. Well, I have an advantage there. I'm shorter than you. Well, when I came up with Mark, we made it this far. When I came up with Jeff, we went another half an hour upstream from here. So that was in the summertime. There was one blockage down from here last year. We got lots of water though, we should be okay. And this is in my backyard. I can do this anytime I want to. It's kind of cool. Actually, it's nice. I think we're going to, again, if the weather is good and we've got some water in the river, I'll do this and paddle down later in the evening because the sun sets on the bottom end of Pittock. So it's actually a nice sunset paddle if you plan it properly and give yourself 2 hours in advance. You're dropping in from Innerkip and then you can make it down the river for the sunset. that, sun's coming out. There you go. That's better. Oh, sunglasses. I think I can officially say you can get down from Innerkip. There are no blockages because it's deep and wide from here, and you can get well past this if you're coming upstream. It doesn't really take much to entertain me. I'm not sure if these are starlings or not, whatever type of birds they are. Starlings, I think. But I just think it's kind of cool the way they bop around and come so close to the water. I guess they're chasing after insects and stuff. They can certainly fly. Oh no, the pines is over there too, because I've seen that channel before. So this is all the pines over here in front of us. And the model airplane club. There's an airplane club right here, and then the pines is right behind it. Tucking close to the bank here because it breaks a little bit of the wind. The wind looks like it's actually coming, I suppose, from the right side, which would be from the east, which is quite unusual for us. But if that's the case, though, that means that going up Pittock won't be so bad. Well, actually, no, it's actually shifted a bit. Anyways, coming from the right side of the lake. I'm going to turn into it. I think once we get past this bridge up here, it's going to get a little tougher to paddle. It seems like every time we come out on the Pittock, it's always windy. And with the winds that we're getting right now, actually, I was hoping not to get wet, but I got a feeling I might be getting a little bit wet, not because of any white water, just because of the spray off the waves. There'll be a few waves on the way in. I'm glad I actually chose to wear a long sleeve. I was going to wear a short sleeve windbreaker, but I think the long sleeve was a good call. This is the part where I wish I had my Necky Manitou, or even the 2.5 foot boat that we've got. There are a lot of designs Manitou, and this is only an 11 foot boat, so it's still a good boat to paddle. I actually still really like it, but once you get into some larger water like this, if it's flat, the nice thing about the Necky is that it's actually a very efficient boat to paddle. Can't say about the Clearwater yet because I haven't paddled it, but I'm sure I'll have it out on the Pittock soon. Only I'll come upstream from Roth Park rather than coming down from Innerkip, though. I'm not sure there'll be many more times for me to go downstream from where I live in Innerkip. The river's going to get shallow soon. So today was good, though. I had no issues whatsoever all the way down. Moving the whole way, no blockages. It was good. The birds are kind of cool, the starlings. Putting on a dance for us. County Road 4. That's how we get in and out of Woodstock from Innerkip. So we're across this bridge all the time. We're driving across this bridge twice after this paddle. Once I get picked up, I'll go back and pick up my vehicle. Actually, 3 times, and I'll come back on the way back as well. So yeah, I'm actually going across this bridge 3 times today. It's kind of nice, actually, driving across this bridge when you live in Innerkip, because you certainly feel like you're in the country. It's nice to look at both sides of the bridge because you see the river and then the lake on the other side. Well, there we go, straight into the wind. Certainly put in and get out here. Quick stop for a battery change. I actually didn't get out. The water levels are higher than normal, so the water's cold. I didn't feel like getting into 2 feet of water, but just to get out and stretch my legs, I'll continue on down the mighty Pittock. I might regret this decision because, again, the winds are 25 to 35 kilometers an hour. Make sure my hat's on good here because I don't want to lose my hat. I lost one last year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now, this little stretch. It's 5 kilometers into the wind. Hold on a second. Looks like I'm going to call. powerboats on the Pittock. It is obviously a river system with a dam, which is what creates the lake. As far as boats are concerned, this is one of the few that they allow boats onto the actual lake itself. If you go up to St. Mary's, actually Wildwood Lake will also let you put a boat on there. Same thing with Conestoga Lake and Bellwood Lake. And then you've got other lakes like Roth Lake where you're not allowed to put a boat in there. It's not with power. But you can drop your boat in down in the conservation area down here. I'm sure I'd swim in the water though. We were coming up here to water ski. Actually, we had to ski on this when we were kids. I think the water was any cleaner then. Yeah, I would not normally paddle on the Pittock. Once the camping season begins at the conservation area here, there's a lot of boaters that come and camp here. So Saturdays and Sundays this lake can get quite busy with boat traffic. We always go paddling on Fridays anyway. And Gordon and I normally don't paddle the Pittock. It's something I do on my own. Gordon's not a big fan of flat water paddling. I'm happy regardless. I love to get out in the water. That's the reason why I bought the bigger boat, because I plan on doing more lake paddling this year. As long as I'm on the water, it doesn't really matter. And actually, I want to go and explore some of the larger lakes now that I've got a bigger boat. As I mentioned earlier, I'm paddling in an Old Town Heron 11XT. It's a recreational boat that I've actually owned now for 5 or 6 years. It's a boat that was my first upgrade boat, because I, like many people, started with a Pelican. I learned very quickly that they sink, because we sank that Pelican in Georgian Bay. So I actively went out looking for a boat that was a little bit more durable. This has flotation front and rear, which is good, because you know that if it does fill with water, it's not going to the bottom of the lake, and I have proven that fact out on 2 separate occasions. I filled it with water and was able to get it to shore and put the water out of it. So it's paid for itself twice in that respect. It's 11 feet, so everything's relative. It does not track as well as my Mickey Manitou, which is 12.5 feet, or any other longer boat for that matter, but compared to the Pelican I came from, it paddles much better, it tracks much better. We also owned a 9-foot version of this boat up until this spring, and I actually traded that boat for the 14-foot Clearwater Designs boat that I have now replaced it with, plus the cash as well. Obviously it wasn't a straight up trade, but we kept this boat because it's a good size. It's quite versatile in what you can do with it. It's indestructible. I actually think it's comfortable to paddle as well. The seat's good. It's got a rear sealed hatch, which is nice, keeps your stuff dry. It's not heavy. I can put it on the top of the car quite easily, and it's pretty much indestructible. I mean, I have gone down most of the river systems around here, and it's spent plenty of time bashing through the rocks. Yes, it's got some scrapes on it, but it's a pretty much indestructible boat. And it will be, in the family, we're going to keep this boat. I'll never get rid of this boat because it's perfect for the application I used it for today. I was in some tight stretches of the river earlier, upstream on the Thames near Innerkip, as you obviously see in the video. And yet, it's quite capable of managing other types of paddling as well. As a matter of fact, I've actually had this in some fairly significant water. If you have a look at the video of me at Luther Marsh, that's really when I first bought the boat, actually. And I got into some pretty choppy water up there. The boat handled that even that quite well. So as a wreck boat, it's actually highly recommended. I would certainly tell you to have a look at it if you're thinking about some of the other less expensive boats. Throw this onto the list. It's a little bit more than some of the stuff you can get at Canadian Tire, but it's money well spent. I wonder how you get in and out of there. Well, there you go, Gord. If you're actually watching this video and you make it this far into the video, this is the reason why you don't like the Pittock. I don't mind it, but this is the reason why Gord doesn't come on the Pittock. But yeah, he came once. All paddling. No floating downstream here. No. Right in. Well, our spot to get out is just over here. Again, there's two spots in Roth Park that you have to put in. If you get a cleaner entry or just get in, then park in the upper parking lot and you carry a boat down from there. There is a smaller parking lot at the entrance of the park where you can put your kayak in, or your canoe. That's where we always put it, just because it's easier to carry the boat back and forth to the car. You don't go as far. It's not quite as clean. You're going to get your feet wet for sure. And right now, I think with the river and the lake being so high, it's probably going to be a little bit muddy and deep. But I'll survive. I've got to change your shoes, so my feet won't be wet for very long. But there you go. That's at least once a year I'll paddle down from Innerkip to Roth Park. So there's our 2025 paddle. The river was running 4 cubic meters per second in Innerkip. I checked the website this morning, and I had absolutely no problems. There is no blockage. So as long as it's between 4 and 7, you know, come down from Innerkip. Otherwise, be prepared to get out and walk for the first little bit, because there will be spots where it gets a little shallow. But it's nice to get out for a couple hours anyway. I haven't paddled for a couple of weeks, and normally we would have paddled on a Friday in May, but haven't been out since Mother's Day weekend, so I wanted to get out for a couple hours, so I'm glad I did. The weather turned out really nice. Not a warm day, but at least the sun's coming out, and there was plenty of water in the river to get down. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We will definitely be out again next Friday, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.